Well, g'day guys. I just thought now I've got a little bit of time where it's not blowing a gale or pissing down with rain, that I'll give you a little bit of a rundown on what's installed on this boat and how I'm finding it. So I guess starting off at the dashboard, I've always used Raymarine for my electronics, and when I was setting up this boat I went through a few different options, and sometimes it's just better to stick with what you know. I'm no guru on the sounders by any means, and I do find with the Raymarine they've got a really simple and effective auto function. You can pretty much set things to auto, and with a little bit of zooming in and zooming out and maybe a tweak on the gain here and there, there's not much else you need to do. So we decided to go that system, and we've got twin Raymarine Axioms installed on this boat. Really simple to use, obviously all touch screen, zoom in, zoom out, really good to use. And then on the other one I usually display my sounder. So yeah, I mean, we've got the new Doppler system for the radio, for the radar. That thing's pretty cool too. It displays targets in different colors, what way they're going. So yeah, I mean, that's basically how my dash looks. And I'll have the GPS on this, I have the sounder on this, and away we go. Obviously they're all synced together, and they're also set up with our autopilot down here. Now that autopilot can drive this boat straighter than what you could do manually on the wheel. Obviously you always need to keep a lookout, but you can jump in the helm seat, push the button, and you just, away you go. Keep a lookout, and you don't even need to touch the wheels. So the whole Raymarine, the sounders, the GPS, the radar system, really happy with it, and super stoked. So yeah, it's all good. So moving on to other things we've got on our dash here. Obviously we've got all our switch panels, and we've got our Fusion stereo down here. Now that thing really does crank. We can change the colors and the lights for a bit of a flare, but we've got 6 speakers around the boat, and we've also got a subwoofer inside in the cabin. So it's always nice to have a little bit of tunes when you're out there fishing. So moving on to the actual control side of things, what's running the Yamaha. Obviously we've got our main gauge just here. So this is just a 9-inch screen, and this displays everything from our oil temperature, our revs, right through. It just does the whole lot. It's an all-in-one package, really cool to use, all touch screen again, and there's no looking at different gauges to try and figure out what's going on. It's all there right in front of your face, real simple to use. And this boat doesn't have keys as such. We've got a little panel down here, and we just, it's a bit grubby, isn't it? That's better. We just swipe our key and push the button, and away it goes. And then moving on to our binnacles. So these are just standard binnacle controls. You can drive the boat as normally, in and out of gear, reverse and whatnot. But the main features I've found with this system, what I really like, is the speed control and the single lever. So the single lever, you can pretty much pull the starboard motor out of gear and into reverse, and that disengages everything. And then this one will run the whole boat. Really cool feature. And then on the front here, we've got our little speed control up and down. And what that does is that if you're sitting on 3.6, you know, and you want to just give it a little bit more, but not too much. You know how sometimes you wiggle the lever and you can't get it quite trimmed out right and just feeling nice? That little speed control button, that gives us 50 revs per tap. So you tap it twice, you get another 100 revs. Real easy to tweak the engines to get better fuel economy and just get better speed, and everything all dialed in really nicely. Just a really cool feature, just super handy, use it all the time. And then obviously moving down here, well, we've got our keypad. This keypad here controls our Raymarines. So basically when I'm sitting in my seat, I can run it all from here. Then we go into our joystick. Now the joystick, it's pretty self-explanatory really. You pull the lever that way, it goes that way it goes that way. Turn it, the boat turns, forward, back. Really simple. Now, I didn't think I was going to use it much, the Houndmaster system, but we went ahead and did it anyway, and I'm glad I did. I mean, I use it all the time, coming in and out of the wharf. You know, when you're poker fishing or kingy fishing and you're trying to keep your line straight up and down, you can just sit there and tweak your little joystick, and it holds everything nicely for you. You want the boat just to move a little bit sideways to straighten up the lines, you just tap your joystick and away it goes. Super happy with it, and real easy to use. Now I've got the hang of it. Love it. Wouldn't not have it. It's really cool. So yeah, and then obviously I got me my nice comfy helm seat, thanks to the boys, Jared up at High Tech Plastics. It's got the logo on it, and that thing is super comfy. I spend a little bit of time sitting in there, and I quite like it. It's good. So yeah, other things that I've done up on the dash. One of my favourite things, I've put these. Not sure you see that, but I've put these live bait tank timers on the live bait tank. So basically, I can set it, and the pump won't run all day. It might run 1 minute every 3, 1 minute every 4, whatever you set it to, and that way you're not thrashing your pump all the time. You're getting fresh water through your liveys. And also when you bring it back at night, I've got it hooked up to the 24-hour power, so I can leave it on, go home, have a snooze, come back the next day, and my little liveys are still swimming around happy as days, and we don't need to go and catch any that day because we already caught them the day before. So that's a really handy thing. Quite glad I did that. But yeah, so anyway, just moving back around the cabin, one little idea that Matt had down at Osprey, or it may have been one of the other boys, Jesse, who bought a boat, was putting foam in here. Simple things, but man, when you're leaning, you know, if you're sitting on the seats and you're leaning up on this, it's just, yeah, nice, just a little extra bit of comfort there. So yeah, obviously, you know, moving from the dash, fully lockable doors, big glove box has got my flares, everything, all my safety gear in there, first aid kit, all that jazz. And then moving over to our seats, well, under this one we've got our fire extinguishers and everything else. Under this one we have our tea and coffee, all sorted, ready to go. I just I didn't opt for gas on this boat just because to be honest, the maritime laws around gas, and there was just more things to service and more things to do, and it was just easier to boil the jug and have a hot water pump pot there to do our coffee. So yeah, and then under this one we've got our sink. It's all cool, and we can do our dishes at the end of the day. Oh, I haven't done them from last time. That's all right, they'll keep. And yeah, on this side we've just got a table basically, so I can put a little cooker on there if I ever needed to, or that's where I make all the tea and coffee and give to the clients. It's real simple. So over the other side, under this seat, I sort of set up for me. It's got all my jigs, all my sinkers, all my lures, line on leaders, everything else I might need that I don't use every day. Just stuff that, you know, I might think, oh, I wish I needed a poker rig because we're going for a poker fish or whatever. So that's all kept under there. And then plenty of storage underneath. And this is where we usually put the client's bags. So just keeps them out the way, nice and safe in there. So yeah, it's obviously more storage under here and under here as well. So plenty of storage. Quite often with a pontoon boat, because you lose a lot of room in the width and in the gunnels because you got pontoons basically, it's always handy to have a heap of storage in other places. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the cabin. Just, as you can see, just nice and simple, nicely set out and real easy to use. So moving out onto the deck, obviously it's a pretty big deck. It's super easy to fish quite a few people off, as you can see. So up the front there, this is our bait and burley chili bin, proudly sponsored by Red Hot Marine. That's a 56 litre Icy Tech, and that's more than enough room for bait and burley for the day. Obviously we've got our big big chili bin in the middle, and that's for our fish and all our ice. Down the back we've got the real important one, proudly sponsored by Hutt Valley Hunting and Fishing, and this is the necessities, just so you can have one when you get back from fishing, while you're filleting up. You've got to have the old cold hiding in there. So yeah, I mean, that's the basic storage with the chili bins. So moving up the gunnels, obviously we've got more speakers out the back here, and we've got rotating rod holders. Those are 360 rotating rod holders from Exploding Fish. I met these boys up at the boat show last year and had a good look at their product, and wow, super happy I did it. They're just, yeah, you can't explain how easy it is just to be able to, you probably don't think about it much, but just be able to move the angle of your line even just 20 degrees in the tide, or have the rod next to you just sticking out a little bit further than the one on the inside of you, to be able to adjust all of that with the push of a button. Super easy. So real happy with those. And then obviously we didn't sea deck the whole floor. We didn't want to, yeah, obviously it's still a charter boat, so by having checker plate on the floor, it's a lot easier to clean and a lot more durable. But we did go for the sea deck down the sides, and obviously on top of the chili bins. So it's just real nice, real comfy and nice to stand on, nice and soft, and really good. I've mounted these two bait boards, one each side, and the main reason I did that was just to stop people putting bait or trying to chop bait on the side. It's a little pet peeve of mine, and yeah, so bait boards on the side, and those things are cool. They just clip in, clip out, take them out when you don't need them. So yeah, straightforward, but just such an, again, just a real effective little thing that makes life a lot easier for me, being this is my office and got to keep it clean. So yeah, and then we've got our Scotty downrigger, and it might be a little bit of an overkill, but it's just really for the burley. So I burley a lot, and there's nothing worse than having to pull up 70 meters of burley rope to change it. So an electric downrigger makes it a little bit easier for us to handle, and also with the thin wire you don't get so much drag, so it pretty much stays straight up and down, and no matter what the tide's doing. So yeah, and then coming to the back of the boat, I mean, our little workstation here, cup holders and knife holders on the top, and a little drawer. The little drawer's handy, so this is where I keep my everyday stuff. Obviously my BKK hooks and little Shimano jigs and sinkers, and you know, just stuff I use every day. I'm out here cutting bait most of the time. Need to tie a new rig, bang, it's all there, it's all sorted. So getting into the technical side of things a little bit more, it's pretty crammed out the back here, but as you can see, it's all done very well, very tidy, and yeah, obviously our electric reels and everything that's been wired in have all been tidied up in there. And the other two, we've just got 5 batteries on this boat, 2 house, an auxiliary and 2 starts. And on the one in the bottom, that's where all our steering pumps for our Houndmaster system is. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Up on the roof we've got obviously we've got double rod holders and our big light bar there, so we can see where when we're at night. But what I've done is I've done rod holders on the front, but I've also done rod holders on the back of the arch, so that way all my everyday rods can go in the front. If we do shoot out for a jig and we're jigging for half an hour, I can stick those ones up the front. They stay out the way, and it's just a matter of stepping up on the side and pulling them down when you need a jig again, or poker fish, or whatever those rods you're not using all the time are. You might only use them for an hour of the day or something. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. As you can see, really nice big deck, plenty of room for everyone, and super happy with it. So moving to the back of the boat, well, there's a lot going on down here, but then there's not a lot, I guess. We've got our twin 225 Yamahas, and they absolutely crank. Super happy with those. And then down the bottom, we've got our lights from Stu up at Marine Lights NZ, and those things are wicked. Those are probably some of the best underwater lights on the market at the moment, and they're made right here in New Zealand, so even better. But as you can see, they absolutely they absolutely haul ass. I'm just in the middle of cable tying those cables up, but yeah. And yeah, twin ladders, one each side if we do put a diver in the water, or more so for me getting on and off it when it's on the trailer. But yeah, anyone ever goes over the side, we can get him back in easy peasy. So yeah, that's the back of it. Yeah, so moving to you know, the sort of top sides of the boat. Well, this was sort of a little bit of a squeeze up on the roof, just because of all the things we needed for our survey. But as you can see, real safe. So we've got our 8-man life raft up there. That's all on a static release. If we ever need it, it'll fly off, do its own thing. We've got our 2 life rings. We've got our radar system. We've got our horns. There's the rod holders that I was mentioning before. You know, just on front of the arch there. Real simple. And then, yeah, I mean, this is a real handy feature. It's got a walk around the whole side, so you can, if you do need to get to the front, if you ever have an anchor issue or anything like that, you got plenty of foot room, and you can just walk all the way up to the front. Real easy. So in our anchor well up here, we've got our Maxwell winch. That thing's pretty faultless. I had one on the old boat, never really skipped a beat, so we went for the same model on this boat, and it's proving just as good. So super happy with that. And obviously up on the roof, got a forward facing light bar. We've also got light bars facing out both sides, and that's just because if we come into a wharf, or we hook a sword, or we hook a marlin, or we end up going into the night, we've got a big fish out the side of the boat, we can light it up like an airport runway, and yeah, see what we're doing. So yeah, pretty straightforward up here too. 8mm toughened glass. Certainly take a few greenies over the front of that, and it won't matter. So just the last area of the boat, guys, obviously inside the forecastle, it's hard to get a real nice balance of cabin versus cockpit, you know, especially in a charter boat. Excuse the train going past. So I think we've got it pretty much right. There's enough room up in this cabin, or forecastle they call it, to stretch out, lay down, go down the sounds for a weekend. No dramas at all. Plenty of room up in here, and obviously a little bit of rod storage behind us, and all our important stuff in here. We've got accessory plugs all over the boat, but in here, I guess when you're doing a lot of things and you got a lot of electrical work, it's real hard to keep everything tidy. But I think they've done a pretty cool job. It's all very simple, all very easy to follow. You know, all my fuses are on separate labeled boxes, so if I do ever blow a fuse, I know exactly where to look. I can go straight to that box, pop it out, that's done. So that is pretty well set up, and real happy with that, being able to just, you know, someone like me that's not too onto it with everything electrical and stuff like that, it's pretty foolproof really. I can find my way around it, no dramas. And then obviously what we've got up here, we've got our doors, so we can lock those up. Super happy with that. And we've also got a fully flushed loo. So we never had a loo in the old boat. We only had a little chemical toilet. So to have a proper flush one is just a little bit of luxury, and just really nice. You know, you can just use the toilet like you would at home, and yeah, away you go. But anyway, guys, I hope you like that little walkthrough. I guess you just have to come down and come out for a charter to experience it yourself. You can book online, all of that sort of stuff, but you know that. And yeah, big ups to, again, to everyone involved.